please like our video and subscribe to RotoWire. Then go to rotowire.com/pod for a free 10-day trial.
You're listening to the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast for Tuesday, March 23rd. I'm Jeff Erickson here with Fred Zinkie. We spent a lot of time talking closers. Let's pivot over to some more bad news. Zac Gallen, who frequents both Fred and I's rosters in many places, or at least me in many places, I know Fred at least in Mixed League Labor, he is out right now, and it's bad news with that because it's a forearm issue. Right lateral forearm soreness is the exact term there. You know, forearm issues often signal elbow issues later on, Fred. This is scary. Even though he hurt himself swinging a bat, doesn't matter how he hurt himself, the bad part is he's hurt.
Where is the DH in the National League, honestly?
Right?
Let's get this done for the sake of fantasy baseball. But yeah, he's hurt. We don't know much, right? I after years and years of covering baseball, I would say he won't pitch the opener anymore. I would be very surprised if he does. Maybe they'll say that it's calmed down and he's fine. I doubt it. And Arizona doesn't probably think they're likely. I guess they're in the discussion. No, they're not. They're not going to make the playoffs this year probably. So I don't think they're going to take any chances with him. I think he's out for a while. I took some innings off my projection for him.
Too.
We were kind of messaging back and forth today. He was going kind of round 3 because everything gets pushed up during main event season with pitching. He's kind of going in round 3. You said you didn't really like him, maybe even in the first 6 rounds at this point, and I said that probably feels about right. I don't even know if I had the kind of money that it takes to go in the main. I don't know if I could even take him in. Could I take him in round 7 or 8 right now? I guess the whole point is to win, not finish 6th. So I guess I'd have to consider it at that point.
I was just discussing this with Liz. If I don't already have 2 pitchers, there's no way I'm taking him there.
Okay.
Unless if he's my second starter, there's no way I'm taking him. If he's my third starter, maybe, but it would require a lot of my other guys that I like in that range having been gone. Like other pitchers having been pushed up, which, by the way, could happen.
Which happens.
Yeah. So that is from. I don't like a couple of things here, though. Well, one, he's been receiving treatment for 10 days. He didn't miss a start. He pitched, I think, on the 17th and the 12th. He didn't have a great start in his last start, but this is the first time he's missed a spring training start. So they've known about it. They just haven't said anything, and they thought it was minor enough that he could pitch through it. I mean, that kind of skews both ways. But then I saw that they were going to get another opinion on him. And that's, I think Chris Welsh was pointing that out at Is It the Welsh on Twitter. He's in This League podcast, and I think Prospect One podcast. He does a great job. At any rate, he's in Arizona. He was pointing that out, and he's sick about this as well. I'm going to use the Scott Pianowski rule. Why bring in uncertainty into it when other guys are going to get hurt on your watch?
It's true, but there is. I know, and I always try to remember that advice from Scott. Except that sometimes there always is a price point. Now I'll bring in Tev DiBiase's old wrestling. Everybody has a price, so
counter, sir. Well played.
Yeah. There's got to be a point. So if I look at the ADP, if I get in the 90s, Charlie Morton, Ian Anderson, Zach Greinke, Chris Paddock, would you take Gallen? As I go into 100, Lance McCullers, Joe Musgrove, Zach Wheeler, Sonny Gray, who's got his own injury thing, but a little less worrisome since it's not his arm. But would you take, I just gave you a group there that kind of goes, say, from about 90 to 110.
Well, Gray's got his own issues, so.
Yeah, would you take Gallen over the guy? Forget, there's going to be a guy you like in that group. Whether it's
I've got Gallen at 126 right now, at least according to my custom ranks. That might be a little low because my the custom ranks algorithm pushes down pitching a little bit, but
right.
I've got it. I'm trying to. Yeah, I should probably do it according to ADP. I have Paddock over him. I have Zach Wheeler over him. I have Pablo Lopez over him.
Alcantara.
Alcantara, I think I have over him. I happen to be the Alcantara guy, so that's probably not.
So
fair.
You're pushing him down. I would say then at least to 130. 130, we get into Sixto Sanchez. We get into Patrick Corbin. As we go into the 140s, we get into Corey Kluber and Frankie Montas.
Right.
So
it's
if
probably
you're pushing
down that level, which is about the 8th
round
round.
9 or so.
Yeah, 8th, 9th round. Yeah.
Yeah.
End of the 9th even. Yeah, I take him at the 9-10, I think.
Yeah.
I've got like 2 more days before I draft, before I know the answer to, hopefully I have more information.
Yeah.
But we're always making these things. It's always a moving target. Everyone that says, "Well, this is why you draft late," not necessarily. I mean, you might have missed out on, CJ Crone, or if at a reasonable price if you hadn't drafted early. So it kind of, this always goes both ways. So I want to use that as a triumphant thing. Though
it's true. There are people out there who drafted Jordan Romano in round 27. Thinking, hey, maybe Kirby Yates will get hurt. Like, that's quite possible. Yeah. And now they are going to reap the benefits of that foresight, right? And someone could pick in the main. You could pick in the main in a couple of days, or someone could be picking the main tonight, and they could grab Zac Gallen in round 8, and then it turns out to be fine, and they basically got a third, fourth round type player in round 8. And now the concerns with Gallen, I think, one is, when's he back? But then the other concern is just that you're starting the season with someone with a forearm injury. So it's whether he can get all the way through. Like I got to think, if they said tomorrow, Gallen's going to be good, he can start in the opener, the treatment's been going well, he's going to start in the opener, I can't put him back up to where I had him a week ago, right? Yeah. Like, I got to factor in the fact that this could be back up during the season. So that, like, already he's no longer a third round pick. Even if he's back tomorrow, he's a fourth, and they say he's going to start the opener, he's a fourth or fifth round pick at best. So yeah. So
previously,
if you're thinking
I had him over like Snell and Glass now, and now I don't, for sure. If he comes back even if he comes back tomorrow, and hey guys, I'm back. I'm pitching in a spring training game tomorrow. Everything's fine. Turns out, funny story. No, I'm still gonna push him down a little bit there.
Because I think I had him. I forget exactly because I've changed my projection, but it was maybe like 175 innings, and now I think I'd have to sit more around 155 and just build in some risk with that, and that would put him down probably a couple rounds at least.
Yeah. I think so. All right. While we're continuing to talk angst, how about the news on Alex Kiriloff? The Twins just optioned him to the AAA. Now, this might be 3 weeks, might be more. I thought that he would probably begin the season in the big leagues. I know you thought the same, and I think this affects you, right?
Not so much that it affects me. I don't think I have drafted him in any of my, I think I maybe drafted him in like an NFBC, like $50, like keep, draft and hold, something like that. Nothing big. I'm just kind of annoyed by the whole thing because I felt like the message coming out of Minnesota was like, we're not going to be that team that plays service time games. Like, we're going to put, if Kirilov's one of our best guys, we're going to put Kiriloff on the opening day roster. I don't know. I'm not saying that, like, maybe they've seen things this spring that make them think that maybe he's not quite ready.
He's had an awful spring. That's one thing.
Yeah. So that's it. So I think that's it in the end. And Jack Cave, and again, going back to just listening to the beat reporters, I will say that throughout the spring, that some of the Twins beat reporters were saying, it may not, that Kiriloff may not be in that starting outfield on opening day. They were saying that. I kind of was like, oh, maybe they're just being tentative, but they were saying Jack Cave would be in that starting outfield. Jake Cave, sorry. Yeah. Jake Cave on opening day. And Cave, I will say, like, in his career, he's a 772 OPS. That's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. He's at 25 home runs and 594 career at bats. So, like, he could be a 20 homer something guy. Like, if he's a 772 OPS guy, like, Kirilov's probably not a lot better than that yet. So I guess it makes sense. I just felt like the message out of Minnesota was more like, we're not going to be the Mariners with Kalenic. Like, we're not going to do this whole thing where we send him down for 3 weeks. So maybe he'll be down for more than 3 weeks. I don't know.
Yeah. Someone who will be down for more than 3 weeks. This is breaking, by the way. Kirby Yates, unfortunately, is going to need Tommy John. He is out for the year.
There you go.
Just hit. Great. Just now.
Now, how high would you take Jordan Romano?
Above that other pack, that's for sure. I'm not in the first 10 rounds just because of the closer committee comment. But Craig Kimbrell or Jordan Romano?
I'm out on Kimbrell for right now. I think I'll take Romano.
Yeah. I think so too. Kimbrell's at 156 in main event ADP, so that's higher anyhow. But okay, the guy that took him at 97 is like, oh, who's talking now? Huh?
Listen to part 1 of that RotoWire podcast, and we'll see who's smart. Yeah. Totally.
Jordan Hicks or I guess that Jordan Hicks is not guaranteed to have the job either, for that matter.
He's not, but I do think Hicks is. They're pretty close now. I do think Hicks is maybe more guaranteed the spot. That being said, I think Romano might be like a more bankable pitcher right now, just with Hicks coming back from such a long layoff. Like, we just can't totally guarantee it.
Mm-hmm. Hicks costs more than Richard Rodriguez, costs more than Anthony Bass, by the way, and Montero and Holland.
Yeah. Hicks is being treated as though he's the closer, but maybe he won't get all. That's how he's being treated, as though he's the closer, but he might not get all the save chances.
Yeah.
I think that's how people are treating him. So maybe they'll baby him a bit at the beginning of the year, but then at some point he'll be the closer and everything. I might take Romano.
Will Smith or Romano?
Will Smith.
Will Smith for me.
What about you?
Will Smith. And I first of all, Will Smith's a good pitcher too. He's easy to back up with Chris Martin, and I think those are the only two guys you have to think about in Atlanta. Great team, great pitchers. Not a great ballpark to pitch in, but I'm confident that Smith will get the job because of the contract, and I'm confident I can cover myself there. Okay, sorry for the closer news and the non-closer news segment, but hey, news breaks. We got to break it too. Dinelson Lamet making his spring training debut tomorrow. Are you in on him, and how many innings does he throw?
No, and I'll go with 125.
I've got him at like 136, but I'm not in on him. I think my rank for him is 153, which doesn't get him anytime.
No, so Lamet is a really good pitcher. If you put his innings at like even a 145, 150, he becomes actually a really nice pick at his ADP, which I think is like round 8, 9. He doesn't need to throw 170 innings if he pitches. I don't mean he has to pitch like he did as well as he did last year. Like last year was pretty lights out, but he has to pitch really well, which I think everyone believes he can do. So if he can pitch really well and throw 145 innings, he's worth it at his ADP. I'm just a little below that right now. I don't know. It's been a long road back for him. I hate seeing the guys who were injured at the end of last season and then can barely get themselves going again in spring training. So, you know, it's a long off season in baseball, and the fact that he still wasn't ready to go.
And I know they're purposely taking it slow so they don't expose him, but I'm getting a Yates vibe. I mean, it's just I don't want it. I don't want him there at all. So I would need him to, Scott Pianowski got him really cheap in mixed labor in February, and we were all like, oh, that's a good price. That's sort of the price I need. And that's like 180 or so is where he got him, I think, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I was thinking about that Scott pick actually when we were talking about this. I was thinking about that Scott pick. I think that's it. Maybe not 180. Well, now that pitching gets pushed up this time of year, I could probably go like 140. Something like that. But comparing it to the pitchers he was going around in the drafts, I think Scott's 180 is a 140 or 150 now.
Yeah, I think so too.
Happens every year. I don't know why, but it always happens.
Weird.
This pitcher movement. Yeah, it's all like we just predict it like the weather.
Yeah, exactly, and as accurately too. And with as many changes. All right, since this is going to be a Zac cast, Zac Eflin has a back issue, but he's not expected to even miss one start. He's supposed to be ready for Game 3 of the regular season. But he did deal with the back issue, didn't start on Friday. I think he's significant. This is all politics are local. I've got a lot of them. I really like the swing and miss. I like the big jump in strikeout rate. I thought another level was coming with him. I'm not scared. I'm still going to take him.
Yep, agreed. I'm fine with Zac Eflin. I'm fine with him as ADP. I kind of had a group of I wouldn't call them sleeper starters, but a group of like ascending starters that I like this year. He's in that group. I do find he's starting to go earlier than the rest of the group. Like a lot of people are on him. So I think I will have 0 shares of him just because he's become a really trendy pick. I didn't get him early in draft. I found he was a trendy pick all through draft season. So I guess I had him in the wrong group, but I think I had him in the right group. I had him in a group of, like I said, of like Aaron Savali and a lot of these guys who are kind of young and up and coming, Christian Javier and some of these guys who I see some potential in to improve. But he's going before all the other players, so I won't have him. But I'm fine with him. I don't think he's a bad idea where he's going.
Yeah, Very good. I like to, I often will get a couple of those guys in that range.
Yeah.
I like, Malley. I like Tyler Malley a little bit.
Yeah.
He had a rough outing the other day, but that's fine if that slows down his cost a little bit.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten on to any Jameson Tyon, but he kind of fits that mold too. But there's, he does and he doesn't, at least in terms of the range. But there's no recent performance to go off of. That's the thing that's kind of tough about that. I like Chris Bassett. Completely different type of pitcher, but I like him there too. There's some pitchers in that range I like. I like my Yusei Kikuchi a lot later on.
You like Marco Gonzalez, I think.
I do.
He's in that range, I think.
Boring Marco Gonzalez.
Boring.
I like him.
Yeah, I think Chris Bassett's a little boring too. Like
yeah.
I feel like him and Marco Gonzalez are that. Yeah, like if you want a guy there, unlikely to be your new number one or number two, but fine. I think they're kind of the guys. But if you want to go for broke, the Eflin, then you can go the Eflin types.
Yeah. Let's talk Tout Wars here, and then we'll do NL East. Before we talk Tout Wars, though, let's share a note with our other sponsor, Stable Duel. Baseball has always been America's pastime, but a close second is horse racing, and we've got the best way to get in on the action. Stable Duel brings a new way to play the races against your friends. Similar to what we only know in fantasy football and baseball, you select your team or your stable of horses and compete against other stables for big money prizes. Watch your stable move up the leaderboard as your horses accumulate points based on where they finish the race. The app is free to download and they offer free games so you can learn to play at zero risk. Don't know anything about horse racing? Like me? Don't worry. The app has all you need to know with free data on each horse's record, as well as a risk number, speed number, and value number for your best selections. This is the first game of its kind in horse racing, and you don't want to miss out. Download the Stable Duel app now and get in the game. Play, race, win with Stable Duel. All right, we both did Tout Wars this weekend. Let's start with your NL squad. You are the defending champ after all. You jumped in early. First two players out of the chute. Fernando Tatis for 38, Trevor Bauer for 27. All part of the Fred Zinkie plan?
Not at all. I nominated Tatis. I did not really want him. In fact, I wanted Acuna. I was hoping that Tatis was going to go for like 40, 41, and then that would kind of set a price, and then I would get Acuna for like a similar amount, 42, something like that. So anyways, I was really happy. I got Tatis for 38. I felt like maybe, I don't know if it's the technology or something, but I felt like maybe the room just at the very beginning was just a little hesitant. So
yeah.
We used the same program last year, so I was pretty comfortable with it. So I bid 38 on, it was climbing. I think I started him at 30. I bid 38 on Tatis. I fully expected it to go. I would probably hit 40. If someone had hit 39, I probably would have hit 40 and then maybe dropped out.
Right.
So, but when it hit 38, I was actually kind of shocked. Like I almost said in the chat room, like, is everybody good? Like, is everybody online? Like nobody's frozen because it's the first guy. Well, I just wondered, like, were people about to say like, oh, I'm frozen or something like that? But no, everybody was good. So I was happy with him. And then I think 4 or 5 players wound up going for more than Tatis. And if you compare that to drafts, like you're not getting Tatis after 4 or 5 players.
Betts went for 40. Acuna went for 42. DeGrom went for 40. I was monitoring. I was the facilitator of this draft. There was a person that had a tech problem. I won't out him.
Right.
But it was user error. So we didn't roll it back. But I thought it was noteworthy. I mean, Bellinger went for 36. And I'm not to criticize the buy.
39, yeah.
And keep in mind it's OBP, not batting average. That's a big difference there too. And especially in the case of Harper. Harper's a god when it comes to OBP. So I see it. Yelich went for the same price at 38. Point is, you did get the first player out of the chute discount though. There's no doubt in my mind that's the case.
If I had known that, I would have nominated Acuna first because I would have rather Acuna, and maybe I could have got him for 30 for 40 or something like that.
Maybe people don't have the same reservations about Acuna that they might have about Tatis. New contract, maybe a little more injury prone. I don't know. Maybe not.
Maybe
we'll see. Trevor Bauer. I know you like Bauer. And I know you wanted him in mixed labor, didn't get him in at the 15 pick. I think didn't you get Bauer in Friends and Family?
Yep, I think so. I'm comfortable with Bauer at the end of round 1. When he came out second. So like if you're gonna see on Fantrax like how long it takes, the exact moments the picks were happened. Like there's like a minute between him and Tatis, maybe less, and like as I'm bidding on Bauer, and I would have gone a little higher on Bauer too. So I felt like Bauer should have been. He's an ADP. He's the number 2 NL pitcher in drafts behind DeGrom. He's way behind DeGrom, but he's number 2. I felt like he should go for the second or third most. Maybe Darvish gets in front of him, but it basically kind of tied with Darvish for the second most.
And he did.
So I was comfortable at 27, and then I was happy as we kept going, because it seemed like then after that, like all the ace types were going for 26, 27. Like I think Scherzer went for 26, 27. Clayton Kershaw went for 27.
Yep.
Looking at it.
Nola went for 26. Yeah.
Right.
Flaherty for 26. Buehler for 26.
Right. And I mean, again, like if anyone says they like all those guys better than Bauer, that's totally fine. I get that Bauer's a bit of a volatile guy to have. So, but just compared to ADP, I felt like Bauer should have gone for $1, $2, $3 more than those guys. Right. But he didn't. So I was pretty comfortable with that too. But like we are like at this point, like 1.5 minutes into the salary cap draft, and I have spent $65 in a minute and a half at the very beginning, and didn't slow down after that.
No, you were an early and often buyer. You got Ozzie Albies for 27, Max Muncy for 25, Francisco Lindor for 33, Luis Castillo for 25, Keston Hiura for 20. Part of the plan, Fred, or were you just gonna just kind of, for lack of better words, stars and scrubs? This was your plan?
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, actually, I guess so. I felt like the prices. So at the high end, I felt like a lot of the talent was in the National League. I've heard that from a few people as we rolled into Tout weekend. We don't really discuss that until we get to Tout and Labor and the onlys. We don't really discuss that in February. But if you go and look at the ADP in a draft, like out of the first 15, 20 players, most of them are in the National League. So I felt like there are stars in the AL only. I wouldn't have done it the same way because there aren't the same level of there shouldn't be. The high end AL guys shouldn't be quite as high as the high end NL guys for this year. So I was comfortable with kind of turning into that and going for it. I didn't have like a pocket aces, but I wanted to spend on 2 or 3 like pretty good pitchers, whether it was Hader or whatever. I was interested in DeGrom, didn't quite get him, but I wanted to spend on 2 or 3 good pitchers. And yeah, I was comfortable with having a bunch of good hitters, then being broke. There's a point where I think if you look at the times where there's almost an hour where I make like 1 or 2 additions and that's it. And then I did try to stay out of the $1 days. I have a lot of like $3, $2 to $4 players who I think are have a little bit of potential. That's tough in an NL only, but either have a starting job or have like a little more of a skill set.
Yeah, you didn't have the only $1 hitter you have as a catcher, Alex Avila, but David Bote, Garrett Cooper, they all got at least parts of a starting job. Adam Duvall should start almost all the time, and you got him for $5. I thought that's probably my favorite one of your cheapies. Odubel Herrera, Austin Slater, Brandon Crawford. I mean, they all are going to play. Yeah, I see it. I like it. And was that by design? Like any $1 players were mostly going to be reserved for the pitching side of things?
Yeah. Well, so I didn't have that concrete of a plan going in. I just knew that I was pretty comfortable in this year's player pool. I was pretty comfortable taking a bunch of expensive players. So I kind of thought I'd have at least 2 hitters that were $30 or more, and maybe 3. Ended up that I had 2, and then I had 3 in the 20s. But I knew I was going to be broke. And then I knew that I just thought, well, I'm going to be broke, and then I'm going to have like an hour where I hardly do anything while all these $15 and $20 players come off the board. So during that time, I'll see what I have left and kind of make a plan. The only pick that went outside the plan was Tommy Edmond. He's in that dead period hour for me. And I got him for 18, and I like the purchase and I like the price. I felt like I was just price enforcing. I thought he has 4 eligible positions and he steals bases, and he's been named the Cardinals leadoff hitter. I thought he would go for 20. A lot of the other outfielders who went for 20, I felt like aren't, or players who went for 20, I felt like aren't really much more valuable than him or more valuable, but whatever. I had too many steals already. So adding Edmond, like I have a lot of leadoff types or second hitter types like Lindor and Albies and Tatis and everything. So I didn't really want Edmond. I would have rather not got Edmond and spread out his salary to get maybe some more Duvall types, some more like $7, $8, $9, $10. Maybe I can take that 18 and divide it and divide it up amongst 2 or 3 guys.
Yeah.
Turn some of those $3 guys into $7 guys, but it didn't work out. Whatever. I hit
Turn those
+1
frowns upside down. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it cuts both ways. I +1 on Tatis to price enforce, and I won him, and I was happy about it. And I +1 on Edmond because I felt like I was price enforcing, and everybody else. I thought at that point in the process that there'd be some people out there who are like, I could use a guy who steals bases and has 4 eligible positions, and I'm willing to pay the $20 for him, but they didn't. So he's outside the plan, but I don't mind the value. And I think in any league, if you're winning steals, I think you can. It's going to be bunched in the middle.
You can always trade steals and saves. Always.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So if I can get out to a lead in those, it isn't some sort of tricky master plan. Just if that's a strength of mine as the season goes on, like I'll trade Albies, Edmond, someone, maybe Lindor, whatever, to address whatever my weakness ends up being.
Steve Gardner got Jesse Winker for 17. I think he would have been a better fit for you than Edmond. But then again, the positions help.
Yeah, I'm not as big on Winker as a lot of people are this year. I just see when Akiyama gets back, I see that as a bit of a crowded outfield. But
it's true.
And I think he will be back. And I think Akiyama's not bad. Like, he gets on base. I think he. Well, of course, Nick Senzel might be hurt or whatever. But by then we'll see. But if I didn't get Edmond, like I said, I would have probably take his 18 and a couple guys who are worth 3. That's 24. I probably would have had that spot and 2 other spots. Probably would have been more like $8 guys. Guys who are starters, more like Duvall. Guys who are like more starters, but at the lower end.
Yeah. What's funny is I'm just looking at the roster grid. I see one $7 outfielder. It's just the way it is, either 10 or higher or like 5 or smaller. There wasn't too many in the high single digits. The one was Tyler O'Neill when it went for 7. So I just thought that was interesting. So you're just going to have to get busy on your speed. I think the other thing you talked about is you've got 2 aces. You've got Bauer and Castillo, and then it's a big ... to your next starter.
Yeah, that's my other potential weakness. So I think when I find a fit, I trade steals tomorrow if I found a fit with someone. But when I trade steals, it'll either be for like a power hitting OBP kind of hitter, or it'll be for another starter because I have Bauer and Luis Castillo, and then boy, it drops. Like it's right down to like Mitch Keller and Adam Wainwright, like just $2 type players. I did plan on having like a $6 type starter, but I got kind of broke, and then I felt like I wanted to swing the extra dollars into the hitters to make sure I got guys like Herrera or Garrett Cooper who play. So I just took whatever at starting pitcher, and now I won't use all those starters. Well, I'll use them all hopefully sometimes, but I'm going to try to stream them and put some more relievers in the lineup because I don't think you can, even in an NL only, just leave Adrian Hauser or Mitch Keller in your lineup.
No. And in Tout, you get to kind of shuffle guys up and down. But it's also in Tout, it's hard to find that sort of depth to be able to do so too.
Yeah. And if I do get, if things work out well, like we were talking closers earlier, either Jake McGee will be a closer, or Stephen Crichton will be a closer, or Kyle Crick will be a closer, and I could trade maybe one of them for just a respectable starter, or trade Kenley if I'm getting enough saves. So
Eduardo Rodriguez for one of your stolen base guys. Who says no? I mean, geez. We're turning cross leagues. Everybody says no.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's segue. You quiz me on my AL Tout Wars team because I know you did a little outline for that.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you. So first of all, you grabbed Garrett Cole. Was that the plan going in? Like, were you getting Cole for sure? Or
no, not for sure.
But you were going to get a good pitcher.
I was, and I kind of set my limit at 40, which is what I ultimately got him for. I think the software had him valued at like 45 to 47 with me setting a 68-32 split. So it's kind of like, okay, the league is hesitant to pay top price for the elite starters. I think in the AL this year, there's so much uncertainty among the starting pitching group. There's very few actual aces. I think there's a significant advantage to having Cole or Bieber or, and Chris got Giolito for 29, which sickened me, but because I think he's pretty close to that group. But I think there's a pretty big drop off in AL starters after that. So I think I'm willing to take what I view as profit there and forego mid-game profit on pitchers later on, as I don't think there's too big of a gap between the mid-game AL starting pitchers and the end-game AL starting pitchers.
Right. So So it's interesting. So I did work through a plan that didn't come to fruition to take DeGrom and Hader. You did almost the identical thing of what I considered with Cole and Liam Hendricks.
Right.
Would have been probably identical prices. I struggled when I made it Cole and Hader, but I limited myself to spending $80 or less on pitching. DeGrom and Hader, yeah, but trying to stay at 87 on pitching when you spent 80 or under when you spent 67 on two
63.
guys. 63, my bad. On two guys, that was tricky. Now you just then blew past that, and you ended up spending 97 on pitching. When you went into the room, were you was that a plan? Were you like, hey, I'm going to probably be one of the high spenders on pitching this year?
No, I was prepared to do it. Let's put it that way. But I didn't have a formal plan. It was more, let's take value where I see it.
Yeah.
Just price and force.
Yeah.
There's some framework, of course, when you start to the thing is, I saw a lot of high-end value, which meant I had to necessarily sit out the mid-game. You'll notice I have like over 20 and then under 10. I have two players in the teens. I have Kelnick and I have Montas. And that's it.
That's right. Yeah. And I can see a gap in time now. Maybe there was a break in there where
I had an hour. Yeah.
Yeah. You have like from 11:23 to 12:31, you took just Kelnick. And even if there's a 15-minute break in there, you were sitting just like me, you were sitting and watching for a while. So are you comfortable with how much you spent on the pitching and therefore how little you spent on the hitting?
I am, with the knowledge that I can trade. It is harder to trade pitching. That's the one caveat. So I kind of need to get lucky and get a second closer and then be able to spin that off. That'd be the ideal path. I might have it in Nick Whitgren, who came up early.
Yes.
Doug Dennis was tossing out all the closers and waiting for a buck, basically. That was his nomination strategy.
Okay.
Whitgren came out early. I said, sure, he has a chance at saves, and even if he doesn't, he's still probably worth $2. So $2, and it's stuck.
Yeah,
and so
I get that one because I get that one in an AL only because you'll keep him even if he's setting up.
Right,
you'll keep him because he's a next man up closer, and and he's not a bad reliever. So
for sure,
I get that one. Yeah, where we kind of differed is once I had spent on a couple pitchers, I got a little hesitant. If I went back and look at my values, there's a few pitchers who went for a little less, and I just chose not to price in for us because I was worried about spending. To not having enough money for my hitters, but you kind of went in on Frankie Montas. You have a nice step down theory. I was saying to you when we were messaging that, like for me, if I lose Bauer and or Castillo, like my staff starts to look really weak. Right. Or like Adam Wainwright's my number 2 starter. For you have that step down now where you've got Cole and Hendricks, but then beyond that, you've got a $13 Montas, you got $9 Eduardo Rodriguez, you got Brad Keller, who you can pretty much leave in the lineup in an AL only at 5. So you have a bunch of pitchers who should be able to just stay in your lineup. So like Cole could lead you to victory, but if Cole were to miss a month at some point in the season, I don't think you'd be totally sunk on the pitching side.
Yeah, I initially regretted the Montas buy because like you can see I had a lot of vacancies to fill among my hitters, and like I keep finding pitchers I like at the prices, and eventually it's going to catch up to me. But I felt I filled it out okay, so we'll see. I mean, it might have cost me like a Kike Hernandez instead of Andrelton Simmons, for instance. That's just as a point of reference, or just another hitter instead of like a $13 Montas, finding like a $10 pitcher like who am I thinking of? Well, Kikuchi, for instance, is one. Or Jordan Montgomery or something on that nature. I would have been happy getting those guys. But Montas has a little bit degree of stability above those guys. Maybe. We'll see. I could be wish casting a little bit. I don't know.
Now let's talk offense. So you didn't spend as much. I see your weakness as steals. I think beyond steals, I think you're fine. Do you agree with that?
I'd agree with that.
And in steals, is this a punt? This is not a punt, though. You're going to compete in steals.
I'm hoping to get 5 points in steals.
Sure.
5-6 points in steals. It might end up being a punt. I mean, Kevin Kiermaier just got hurt hearing me say his name 3 times. Candyman reached through the mirror and grabbed him. Kelnick, I mean, we'll see how quickly he gets the call and how much he runs, but I think he can run. Hayes can run. Kiermaier can run. Joey Wendell can definitely run. Great sprint speed scores there. I get no speed whatsoever for my corners, and Aledmus Diaz is probably a 0 in speed as well. So I don't have a lot of speed. 100% agree with that. I'm going to have to either trade for it, fab it, or forego it.
I think how soon Kalenic comes up may be a big part of that puzzle for you. Like if he's up 2 or 3 weeks into the season, if he's up 2 or 3 weeks in the season, he could steal you 15 to 20 bases.
Yep, that's right.
And Seattle doesn't mind running. But if he's not up till mid-May, you might fall behind the pack and then decide, oh, maybe I'm just like not going to compete in steals this year. But I think beyond steals, like whereas I think maybe OBP might be my hitting weakness, I think for you I think steals is clearly a weakness, but beyond that, Anthony Rendon, rock solid hitter. Aaron Judge is obviously really risky, but he's a really good player.
And it's an OBP format.
That's right.
I think is huge.
Nelson Cruz, Jose Abreu, like you've kind of cornered, you haven't cornered the market because there's so many of them these days, but you have a lot of just like really good sluggers, high OPS.
I got some beef
guys.
on my team.
You do. Yeah. Yes. You guys will look great coming off the bus.
Yes.
Like coming into the stadium. Like you've got some guys like that. But and then I wanted to ask you also so you had a lot of your team, other than Whitgren, your team kind of went in order where you got, which a lot of them do, but at the end you just have this long list of players under $10. Let's say 7 and under, because you have a lot of, like half your team is 7 and under. Who'd you like the best out of
Joey Wendell at 7.
Okay.
I don't like what it did to me in the end game, but Pedro Severino for 4. He's batting cleanup for the Orioles right now.
Okay. Yep.
I think Rushman is a late season call-up, not an early season call-up.
Agreed.
If maybe not even a call-up at all, but we'll see about that. Because the Orioles are special cheap, and it's because there's a situation with the owner there. It's a little dicey, with his health and like the fluidity of some of his funds, that I think it's kind of the Angelos family. I think, they peeled off as much as they could. They were trying to get arbitration eligible guys to take deferred money. I mean, it was really weird how they're managing their payroll this year. So if they can save some finances there, it seems like they're trying to get ready to sell the team, but I don't think they'd ever admit it. They also have a bad TV contract situation too. That's a nice sidebar. I like Keller at 5. I thought that was fine. Josh Fleming's kind of like one of my sneaky good pitchers. The role is in question for him, but whether he's a starter or whether he comes in after the opener, I think he's solid. If you pair Rich Hill with Fleming, that might not be a bad combo. So I don't know. I'm kind of happy with that one too.
Yeah, and I mean, if what's standing in the way of Fleming being in the rotation is Rich Hill, like he'll probably be in the rotation by the end of April. So
could be,
and in AL only, you can wait. Like you can,
yes.
Like NFBC, you just don't have time. Like you need those bench spots, everything else. In AL only with unlimited IL, like you can wait. You can wait on Fleming. And we were messaging and I was saying, I liked your Renato Nunez pick. You had reservations about it at $3. I totally get why you have reservations. There's a chance that Renato Nunez is sitting at home like you and me in a couple weeks. But I think he's too good of a hitter for that to happen. I think Detroit will let him be their first baseman, and I think he'll do fine with it. And I think that if they, in the unlikely event they do let him go, I feel like someone will pick him up. So I thought Cleveland playing first base would make some sense because I don't believe in Jake Bauers. But I just think Nunez is too good of a player to not be at least a part-time player on a major league team this year.
I hope you're right.
I
hope you're right. I did back him up with Paredes just in case. I'm hoping they both make it somehow, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, like 816 OPS last year. He's still in his 20s. 771 OPS the year before. 31 homers 2 years ago, 12 last year, which prorates into the low 30s again. So this is a legit 30 homer guy. I know he's in Baltimore, which is a good park, but for $3 there, you might get 30 home runs. That would make him one of the best picks that you made.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
We went kind of long on this. I think we're going to forego the NL East breakdown. We can kind of do it a little bit, but I already talked about the Mets earlier.
Sure.
We can cover Phillies, Braves, Marlins, and Nats next week a little bit. Let's just go ahead and do that. I think we're going to forego the NL East pod because, hey, you guys have been listening. Loyal listeners going with unusually long podcasts, but I don't really want to go 2 hours. I don't think you want that either. So we'll do NL East next week. Any other parting thoughts then, Fred?
Nope. So you have the main, since now we have a minute since we're not going to do the AL East. So you have the main on Thursday and the main on Saturday.
That is correct. I have that. I also have Home League on Wednesday, Auto New on Wednesday. I got the XFL Reserve Draft the following Tuesday, that big March draft where it's all the, because we do the auction in November and then do the reserves, and everything's changed by then and all that. I've got that Tuesday night, and then I've got a home NL Keeper League on Wednesday night. So following on the 31st. So not close to done. What do you got left?
I think I just counted 6 more player selections that you have. Opening day is 9 days away.
It's crazy,
including today, and you have 6 in the next 8 days.
Yep.
You have. I just have 2. So I have decided to. So I think I'm going to jump in the main this year, which I haven't done. I haven't done that in forever. I have done it, but I'm talking like 10 years ago, maybe more.
Wow.
I was going to do a super, and the league was not filling. So Jeff Zimmerman and I are going to partner up and do a main. Right now we're in one for next Tuesday night.
Okay.
It's not full yet, but assuming it fills, I think it'll fill. I better fill. I hope for Greg and Tom's sake that it fills. So,
the mains will fill. There's no doubt.
Yeah. So we were in a super. It wasn't looking promising. I think it was 4 out of 15. It's the same time as all the mains. I was worried it wouldn't fill. So anyway, we decided to grab a 500, which I'm doing Sunday night, and a main. So
I'm going up against Jeff and Tanner Bell on Thursday.
You are.
Yeah, they got the first pick. I got the 14th. Life is fun.
You will not be sniping each other.
No, I'd hope not. Well,
maybe in the late rounds.
Or maybe, yeah, I hope not. At least I hope he's not sniping me. But at any rate, I got my 14th choice, which is the 14th pick.
Did you really? Yahoo Friends and Family. I was the last guy pulled out for the Yahoo. I remember when Scott sent it out. I was the last guy pulled out for. Yeah. I have not had great luck overall.
Nor have I.
For KDSs this year. I've been near my last picks on almost all of them. So I'm hoping that it all evens out for the main and that I get a spot that I like.
Yeah. We got breaking news, by the way, and this is
okay. Let's do one more breaking news.
You're not going to like it. Fernando Tatis exited today's game with an ankle against the Reds. He ranged right to make a play. They made a long throw off the diamond. He walked out the field with the hand on his right hip. Don't know any, no other details yet. I mean, he did not appear to be walking gingerly, so it might not be big, but it's a big player. So anytime he sneezes, we're going to be paying attention to that.
Yes, and as we just outlined, he is the best player on my Tout Wars team. So
yes,
we'll see. You know what? It's spring training. Sometimes these guys, like Starlin Castro, left today's game. Mm-hmm. This is a thing with Tatis, though. I think he does seem to go hard and get nicked up a bit. I do think that's a thing with him. Let's hope this is. I certainly hope now that this is not a really big deal with him, but. That will be something that's going to be interesting in the next few years of his career. He does seem to get nicked up a bit. I can think of other guys. I felt early in his career Bryce Harper got nicked up a fair amount. And now I don't feel that way about him quite so much anymore. Those aren't the only guys I can think of. But, I don't know. We'll see. Tatis is really dynamic. He's not Byron Buxton or anything like that, but he's really where he gets hurt all the time. But he's really dynamic. He's going to steal bases. He's going to make rangy plays. He's going to play all out. I do feel like he's going to get nicked up a bit.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he got discounted a couple bucks versus the rest of the elites. So
yeah.
Happy note to finish. We start with angst. We end with angst.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Fred, and listeners who have Tatis. So. That's going to close for today. We got James and Clay tomorrow. If we hung around a little bit longer, we could just keep on reading the news as it breaks, and there'll be other guys that are breaking too. But Thursday, we're going to go record Thursday morning on this one. Ryan Bloomfield from Baseball HQ is going to join me. We're going to talk Bloom boards. We're going to talk Tout with him, and all other angst-filled topics as well, I'm sure. So please, as always, subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. It means a lot when you comment, when you listen to us and watch us, as the case may be.
No. Wait, I'm going to interrupt you because I think we have even more breaking news.
Oh, no.
Do you want one more breaking news?
Yeah, I think I know what it is, but go ahead.
George Springer,
Yeah.
grade 2 oblique strain. The Blue Jays say that the early signs are incredibly encouraging and that he could be ready for the first series of the season.
Incredibly encouraging.
Do you know many guys who come back from an oblique strain in 10 days?
Maybe it's incredibly encouraging in comparison to Kirby Yates, but I don't find that incredibly encouraging whatsoever.
Yeah,
they have built-in depth at least. At least that, poor Randall Grichuk will get to play.
Hello, Randall Grichuk. Forget all those bad things we said about you when we were signing all these other players. We are a center fielder again. So, and another fun injury is Robbie Ray has a bruised elbow because he fell on the stairs while carrying his child.
Yeah.
So the bruised elbow is not the worst part of that fall if anyone's ever fallen when carrying a young child.
No doubt about that.
No. But anyways, George Springer, sorry to cut you off in the close, but I feel like we got to just throw that in there for everyone who stuck out till the end.
Yeah.
If you drafted tonight, would you drop George Springer around?
Yes. Because he's already kind of there's a lot of guys in that group already.
Yes. He's another guy, actually. Throw him in my Fernando Tatis early career Bryce Harper. George Springer is often dinged up. He doesn't have a lot of 150, 55 game seasons.
No, and he doesn't run anymore either.
Totally. So, he gets dinged a little bit. It's just part of the planning with him, like plan for 140 games.
I got both Springer and Marcell Ozuna and beat Jeff Erickson. I was looking at the same spot, took Springer first in the fourth round and Ozuna coming back in the fifth. I thought that was actually really fun that I got.
So do I.
I would take Ozuna easily ahead of him now. Easily. I would take Jose Abreu ahead of Springer now. I would not take Alex Bregman ahead of him. I need more of a discount on that. I would take Aaron Judge ahead of Springer. I have taken Aaron Judge ahead of Springer. I did so in Friends and Family. I'm just going for pure ceiling there. If I'm gonna, Springer's got, like you said, it's a sneaky injury risk. Pete Alonso, now we're talking. Nolan Arenado. That's about. So I'm moving him down about 10 spots. He goes from like 40.
And once we get even lower than that, like Javi Baez, Gleyber Torres, Austin Meadows, all those guys stunk last year. Like to say they're going to be better than Springer if he misses a week or two, I think is a stretch. Yeah. So maybe you move him down 10 spots.
Yep.
I think I might not even go quite that far. We'll see what the news is. Yeah, you might be right. I probably go Abreu. I might go Bregman. We'll see what the next 24 hours holds. I'd probably go JT Realmuto now too. He's got his own issues. Like
he's back today though, so we're good.
But he was back and then he's out. Now he's back. But I agree with you. I think Springer's gone from like early fourth to late. For me, he's gone early fourth to late fourth.
I only projected Springer for 145 games for what it's worth. So I don't even know if I changed the projection on him. Because isn't that kind of this is kind of what you expect with him.
Yeah, except if he does go on the AL, you didn't expect, say, those 17 missed games, you didn't expect to burn like 7 or 10 of them at the very beginning of the season.
Right.
So you might
138 it is.
Yeah, you might drop him just a little. And like I said, like if I even take off like 20 at bats or something, and then like 4 runs, couple of RBIs, a home run, he'll drop behind those guys. He'll drop behind Ozuna. Yeah, he'll be sitting. I think for me, he'll end up sitting. Yeah, late fourth, mid to late fourth.
Yep.
Yeah. So
not
the end of the world, but yeah. Anyway, sorry I cut off your ending, but I had to. I felt like
no, it's okay. I'm just afraid if I I need to cut off the podcast before somebody else breaks. Like we're responsible for it now. This
podcast has been a really negative one, and I agree. We need to end this podcast because if it goes 10 more minutes, someone else is going to get hurt, and good players too.
Yeah, literally breaking news. So let's not break anybody else.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening. Hopefully you didn't click off please subscribe, rate, and view in this important 10 minutes. So, all right. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.
Please like our video and subscribe to RotoWire. Then go to rotowire.com/pod for a free 10-day trial.